Hello everyone, welcome to the next playthrough of Kentucky Route Zero. We're on Act 2 and I'm going to show you how to get the achievements and beat this act. There won't be as many as the last one, we only have 3 achievements total and that includes beating the act. When you start up the game, you'll find yourself here with this guy that's limping. And all we need to do is, we're going to rush over to the far left side here. If you haven't watched any of my playthroughs before, like my past one, I would just skip through all the dialogue as quickly as you can. You'll see I clicked the bell there, by the way. So you'll notice here, I'm just going to quickly rip through the dialogue. Not a lot of it overly matters. And there's a couple that do, specifically more so for achievements, and I'll specify when that is. So after clicking the bell, the receptionist shows up here as she did there. And I just try to rip through this and spam through it as quickly as I can. Sometimes I slow down to read it a little bit, and I feel bad. Someone typed a lot of this stuff, as I just mentioned in my last playthrough, and I just kind of ignore it almost. But as you can tell, because I ignore it, I walk away. I don't know if you necessarily had to stay, but I just walk away. And I was kind of messing around here, but then I turned back around because nothing was happening. And as we walk back over here, you can see the receptionist is there. We're going to need to talk to her again. Because all she was going to do is briefly disappear. I kind of screwed that up, so I come back. We have a little bit more of a conversation. And now she tells me I can use that elevator that we were just at. So we're going to go right back over to the elevator, limping along because we're hurt and super slow, unfortunately. So you're going to go up, press this elevator, and the person with you is going to suggest you go to a specific floor. I believe she suggests the 4th floor. You're going to want to ignore that, though, and go to the 1st floor, the one just above you. Over there. She suggests the 5th floor, but we're going to the 1st floor. So that's somewhere where dialogue is going to matter. And on this floor, we're going to get one of our first 3 achievements. So we're going to talk to someone, and you're going to get options here. And this is where dialogue is going to be very important. You're going to have the option. This is only Conway's dialogue, as you can see there. You'll typically get to choose either Conway or Shannon's dialogue. What you're going to have to do is you're going to have to go receptionist to receptionist. So you can see, or sorry, clerk, I should say. Clerk Metzstein's over there. And when you get options to talk, you must always choose Conway's dialogue. So there's 2 Conway and a Shannon. We're going to pick Conway. And he's going to tell us we need something. We got to go to the person over here. So we're going to go over to this person. Again, whatever dialogue, make sure you pick Conway's dialogue. And he's going to tell you need someone else. So then we're going to go to the person in the back. Do the same thing. And I'm just going to speed this up because this is just over and over and over. That we're in a loop. And it takes kind of like a long time, unfortunately. And you can see I've sped it up a lot. But you just have to keep going through this loop if you are achievement hunting. If not, like, it's really not necessary, but this is how you do it. So what this achievement is we're following the bureaucratic loop in the bureau 3 times. So one person directs us to one, then the next, then the next. And once you do this, you'll get the achievement Paperclip Labyrinth. Once you're done doing that, you, like I just did there, you're just going to pick whatever of Shannon's dialogue cuts through the bureaucratic red tape, and then you're off to the next floor. So now, instead of going to the floor you're supposed to, like before, we're going to go to the 2nd floor, because all of the achievements that have nothing to do with just beating the act are in this building, which is kind of nice. Knock them out of the park right away. Then the rest of the game, we're just going to blitz through the act. So we're on the 2nd floor here. You can see that there's something going on there. We can just stroll right on by it. And that's what we're going to do. Walk to the far right here. And on the far right, you're going to notice that if you go far enough, it's going to show us this guy on the organ. And we're going to go ahead and click that. And we're going to listen to this guy play the organ music for a second. As this is our 2nd achievement in this act, listening to the organ performance in the Bureau. And this is the achievement organ performance, as aforementioned. So you're just going to listen to that for a little bit. And you can see he turns around and he actually starts playing the organ now. So that's good. That's what I think is probably the key part. And now that we've listened to the organ, you'll see on the option on the left there is the balcony that we can return, because now we've listened to the organ. I give it a few more seconds than you probably need to, just to make absolutely certain I got this achievement. And I was pretty satisfied. We've listened to it for a bit now. So then you're just going to go ahead and select balcony on the left there to return, which I do here in just a moment after listening to this music for a bit. And there we go. So now we're just heading back to the elevator to do what Shannon wanted us to do originally, which was head to the 4th floor, which is the archives and records floor. So there's her suggestion again, and we're just going to go ahead and follow it. 4th floor. So once we get to this floor here, we're going to go ahead to the center of this room and look at these documents, as that's our option there. And there's literally nothing for us here. So of all these options, you could sleuth through it if you're interested, but really all you have to do is click put the logbook away, as I do there. And that's it. Nothing really going on. And we're heading back down. So you'll see Shannon gives us our options list, lets us know where we're going. So we're heading back to the 1st floor. And here we are back at that bureaucratic loop area. So now I'm just trying to go ahead and find Lula to talk to her. And it wasn't giving me the option, as you can see there, but now I get the option. We're going to talk to Lula. I just wasn't quite in the right spot. And all Lula does is directs us somewhere else again, some more of a bureaucratic loop, essentially. And we're just going to head down to the ground floor to talk to Mary Ann, who was the initial receptionist, once we showed up at this building. And that's the lobby. So we're going to head down to the lobby. And I just won't talk constantly throughout this video. Like, at this point, we're just waiting until we walk over to the lobby. I'm just showing you where I go, what I do. So there's not a lot for me to say at this moment, so I'll just kind of stay quiet. So now we're talking to Mary Ann over here at the front desk. And I'm just going to cut through this dialogue, but she's essentially giving us directions. So we can go back to the truck and press the wheel on the truck to get into the truck to drive. And as I mentioned in my last videos, I get 2 options on the truck. The top one is to immediately start driving and go. The bottom one is for nothing to happen, for you to stay in that spot. So just click the top option, which in this case is get back in the truck, but it always changes up. So now that we're on this highway, you're going to want to drive clockwise. So you'll see I start clicking here, and I was going the wrong direction for a second, so I switched directions, and this direction is clockwise. And we're going to go in this direction until we find the crystal, which is right there. And then we're going to take route 8192 from what I've gathered, and then you're going to want to drive counterclockwise, so we're going to go back in the opposite direction until we find the self-storage. And there it is. Easy peasy. So now we're moving into scene 2, moving right along in this act. So we're just going to go over and talk to Brandon, who is the janitor over here on the far right. I was looking at Shannon for a second, about to talk to her, but it is... I do quickly just to check in with her and get that dialogue over, but then we're going to run over to Brandon here. And we're just going to talk to him a little bit, lots of dialogue, and we're just talking to him, keep him busy. While, as you can see here, Shannon says she's going to go, so you just wait. So I'm just going to spam through a bunch of this dialogue while we're waiting on Shannon to go and do her thing and come back. So now Shannon's back, so we can go ahead and click that exit button and leave the storage shed area. Self-storage, I should say. And you can see from a bit of dialogue here, our leg's getting really screwed up, so we're going to have to figure that out. As we tried to leave, it kind of stopped us from leaving. So this is where we've decided we need to go to a doctor, which is what's going to happen in this game. So now it actually does let us leave. And now that we're back on this highway, we just need to retrace our steps to get back to the bureau. So in this case, we're moving left along this bottom path, which is clockwise, sorry, until we find the crystal. So I click on the crystal and select that highway, which would take us back to our original highway, Highway 65. Then we're going down to the left, which is counterclockwise, until we find the bureau again. And this will bring us to scene 3 of Act 2. So now I'm going to go back over to Marianne at the receptionist desk. And you'll see Carrington, that you should recognize if you achievement hunted in the first act, who is at the Equus Oils gas station area. And basically, he's looking for a place for his play. I didn't really know what to click, so I actually just selected gas station because I know what that is in case it came up later. Which I haven't noticed. I don't think it does. I haven't seen it come up later. And then we're just going right over and talking to Marianne. So essentially what it comes down to is, I believe we're looking for someone, they're not there, and we're in the point where we're going to need a doctor for the leg, so we're going to move right along back to the highway. So we've been going northeast a lot, up that way towards the highway, so we're actually going to go the opposite way. We're going to go down southwest. And just a little bit past the Equus Oils here, where that play is now going to happen. We're just going to go to the left here. Once you see that there, that symbol, it's a good indication. And we'll find Dr. Truman's house. So I went ahead and clicked on that. But what we're looking for is that museum right there. Now that we're at the museum, this is kind of a more open area than what we've seen a little bit so far. So just take a look at where I'm going to go and which direction I take. But essentially we're going down and to the right. And I try to go straight down because it's sort of that direction, but you can see like I'm clicking here and it doesn't really let me go that way. And so we're just going to go down to the right as best we can until you see this. You'll see the camera changing here a little bit. And you'll see this lit up part here. I kind of walked around a little bit, but you're just actually going down to the right more, as you can see me walking away from it. Once you've hit the red lift here, that's a good sign, because then we're going to walk into this elevator here, and this will bring us farther in the level. And you can see our dog's really slowly falling behind here. That kind of sucks for this next part, is you're literally stuck waiting on the dog. It's kind of slow as it is, but the dog really does slow you down that much more. But dog's man's best friend, so we're going to wait on him, because we appreciate him. So now that we're on the rooftop, it's raining. You'll have that umbrella option in the bottom middle. I just clicked it, because I mean, it's raining, so why not pull out the umbrella? I can't imagine I wouldn't think it's absolutely necessary. Like, I don't think you're going to die or something, or lose any sort of progress just because you didn't pull out an umbrella in a rainstorm. So I just pulled it out, because why not? And we're going to make our way to the far right. You can see the dog in the bottom left just there, and he's just exiting the screen now. So with the distance we're walking, you'll see what I mean, that the dog is super slow. We've got to wait for him to catch up. I thought my game was like stuck or something in this next part. I had no idea why it wasn't progressing, but that's the reason. That dog right there. So finally we get to Ezra here that we're going to talk to. Honestly, take your time to read this conversation a little bit. I didn't. But otherwise, you're going to be waiting on the dog, and you'll see what I mean in a second. I mean, the dog probably should have by now if you read all of that, I would think. So maybe skim some parts of it, but yeah, we're just talking to Ezra here to get picked up by a bird, and we're going to fly for this next part. We're just waiting on the dog. But as a disclaimer, while we're waiting on the dog who's coming in now, what I want to say is pay close attention to this next part. I found this next part kind of confusing as to where you're going. Like, there's a lot of directions. Maybe if I read it, it would have explained it a lot better, but I didn't. So this is what I did. I mean, I'll cut out bits and parts. Like, it took me a while to figure out what I was doing, so I'll just show you. So starting from the museum here, look at the bottom left at the compass, and you'll see northeast, which when I'm right here is down and to the right. Not up and to the right like you might think, so make sure you pay attention to that compass. We're following along the Green River here, as you can see in the bottom middle. And I hit Nolan River Lake, but that's not the direction we're going. We want to go down this way, which is more pretty much east now, is where we're heading. Passing this small figure and going across Highway 65. You'll see Elkhorn 9 here on the bird's right, our left. That's a good sign, means you're in the right direction. And you'll see this fork in the road here. That one's a dead end. You don't want to go that way. So I just follow along this way. And this is Green River Lake, which is a good sign that we're on the right track. So just keep on pursuing. But what you want to do is, instead of going down that way like I was about to do, you want to switch gears and kind of go over to that water. And you'll see the cameras rotating, and we're now heading southeast to this really giant lake. That's Lake Cumberland. Once you hit the lake, take a left here, as I'm about to do, which will head us more east. Almost northeast, but no, pretty much east. And you'll see this patch of what looks like grass or something. That's the forest. That's the next part we're heading to. Like I said, the directions aren't super great. It's a bit confusing, but if you follow that along, hopefully that should make sense and not be too hard to follow. And this will put us into Act 5, which is right around the closing of the act. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna run to the far right here. I'm not sure how much dialogue was really necessary, but it's really easy just to like fly through the dialogue and not pick anything specific. So that's what I do here. I talked to the bird because they brought us, or well, Conway at the bird because they were an important part of us getting here. And I was just looking around, but there's nothing else. So we're gonna head to the far right. And it doesn't really, like, I mean, it doesn't show you that you're kind of on a path, but you're just going to keep going to the right. There'll be a few people stopping along the way, and I think you can just skip through them all. Because it's the person at the end that's really important, but I did talk to people along the way, just in case. But like you can see there, it's super quick, like, there's not a lot to say. Really doesn't hold you up that much. Same with these people here, just I had another quick conversation. So we're just still making our way to the far right. And this is the important part. They'll say he's inside Dr. Truman. This is the doctor we're looking for. So that's the important part. Click on her, talk to her, and you'll find the doctor here. And we're just going to quickly talk to the doctor, and this is our last point in the game. I just kind of skipped through that conversation. And this is wrapping up Act 2, which will get you the achievement Act 2, much like the Act 1 title. Not, I'll say not overly original, not like something weird, different. Nothing to describe the game, just a pretty bland title, Act 2, which is, as it's said in the title, basically, that's for completing Act 2. So that's pretty much it, just skipping through. And thank you for watching if you got into this point, and we'll see you in the next chapter / act, I should say. See you then.